Hey, Mama.
Hi.
What's happening? Oh, what? I didn't hear you. You said it very super
I
low.
said, you know.
You know, what do I know?
Everything and nothing.
It's the smartest way to be. Everything and nothing. Depends who you're talking to. It's been another week, our work that we put in order to be an example to others.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to take us for example, but we strive to use our tools to be better people and be a better couple and parents, and things that we do to strive to be the change in the world. Today, on the way over here, we talked about keeping it lighter. We're not going to go into relationship things. We're not going to go into doing the work, because we know we're doing the work.
Yeah.
I've had some revelations over the last week as well, which are great.
We love to see it.
Thank you. We don't watch the news a lot, other than what comes to us algorithmically.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about pop culture.
My algorithm loves the Diddy trial, okay?
Wow, that's the first thing you want to talk about, huh?
Yeah, because Samuel L. Jackson, now that he's a part of it, and he popped up in the courtroom, he was like, surprise, motherfucker. And he has like over a decade worth of paper trails and notes.
So what I'm getting out of it is Hollywood is, and music for that matter, is wired a certain way. Mm-hmm. It's about grooming young talent, sometimes when they're super young, and taking advantage of them and exploiting them. Sexuality becomes a thing with it too.
Yes, that's not specific to the entertainment industry. I've worked in all different fields, and at a high level, that's everybody. They're preying on the younger ones, and at a high level, you're not getting the same dopamine you would as when things are new and exciting, so you have to find, you don't have to, please don't, find new creative ways to get those dopamine hits, which becomes, a lot of people turn into drug-fueled sexual deviance, I feel.
Talk about that as someone who is a therapist. I will call you a therapist. You don't have a PhD
in these
in
streets,
it.
Okay?
I've been to therapy, and I hear therapists, and God bless them all, and some have been amazing with me. I hear you talking to people, and then I see them healing. I will call you a therapist without the PhD, but to me, a very solid source.
Thank you.
What do you think the psyche is behind it in terms of Diddy, everything that he's done? Obviously money, power, influence, and controlling people.
Most anybody that abuses their power or has that deviant side to them, they've experienced that at a low level. Look at the way children are with each other. If a big kid picks on this kid, then when they're a little bit older, either they're gonna go empathetic with it, or they're gonna pick on the littler kid because they don't know how to have the empathy because they didn't receive it. As you go up the chain of command or the ladder in life, it's the trickle effect.
You think Puffy, early on in his adolescence,
100%.
there were things going on?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of twisted stuff with his mother. The trial and everything that's coming out, not that I don't care about the individuals themselves, because God bless everybody involved. I hope all ends for the highest good of all, to the harm of none. What I'm most interested in isn't the truths or the shock value. I love seeing false idols crumble. And I love that the general public and people who would otherwise idolize these people because they're on the magazines, or when they go shopping, or they're in their feeds, or they have this false perception of them that they're these great beings, when all of the media is very fabricated, it's very curated, and it's a machine. To see people like that illusion falling is beautiful.
I have not been paying too much attention to it, other than we're in the music industry. We are striving to get to that level. We are striving to get to that point of where Puffy is with music and being an influence in the industry. The last thing we're all thinking about, and I know all the artists, is getting to a freak off or a Puffy party or exploiting people. Today, listening to Samuel L. Jackson talking about Steve Harvey and about how he's breaking down the systemicness of these young people being exploited. If you're not exploited, if you're not sexualized, if you're not at an age curated, then you don't make it in this business with people like that at the top.
Exactly.
What he's doing is getting wholesome people to the top in order to really make it more of a wholesome industry. I think in an age of awareness, in an age of light, in an age of we instead of me, that Hollywood has to change. The music industry has to change. New leadership has to come in.
I agree. You know, a wise man once said, fuck Diddy, fuck Bad Boy as a staff record label and as a motherfucking crew. And I think he had it right.
Tupac fan here, obviously.
And I'm not even going to touch on that dynamic right now.
I was always a Biggie fan. Amazing.
There's a ton of rappers that put it out there. Eminem has 5 different songs where he's calling it out.
He calls Diddy out.
That's what I'm saying. He's calling that out specifically.
Let's talk about couples. Let me think about a couple that I recently saw that, the French president and his wife. When is it all right for a woman to hit a man? Never. Did you see them on the plane? His wife, there's, I think,
Yeah,
a
I
25-year.
She cuffed him a little bit. Here's the thing, what's leading up to that? Culturally, some cultures, they are more slappy. I'm not excusing any sort of DV, light or otherwise, but I'm just saying, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened.
It looked like it wasn't playful. Media.
A press release coming off of a private fucking jet, you're not playfully slapping each other.
It's never the right time for a woman to hit a man.
Or vice versa.
Absolutely not. I mentor young men, especially our 4 young men that we have at the house. No matter what, you never put your hands on a woman, no matter
Period.
what. Who else is in the news right now? Pop culture. AI, movies. Some have been good. What did we see recently?
Minecraft.
There's the new movie, Sinners.
Heard amazing things.
It was originally written. A lot of these stories are AI written now. What they're trying to do in the industry is trying to make these multi-million-dollar films within 15 days rather than it used to take 6 months, a year to make a film. But everything is sped up so much, and I think the quality of film has deteriorated.
I am somebody that loves movies or to be entertained, to see what people create. The art of, oh my God, somebody's brain came up with that and look at how they like applied it and now it's real and we get to enjoy it. I love it. I do not enjoy going to the movies anymore. I don't really watch movies at home. I'm just turned off to it because there's no creativity. And you can tell, it's just like that cheap shit, shitty ass plots.
Everyone's using AI. All these screenwriters, a lot of them are using AI, probably the majority. It's here to stay, and it's something that's an amazing tool. At the end of the day, what's going to separate is originality and how your content ages. Talking about how content ages, all the old movies are coming back.
Thank God.
What did we hear today? That one of the most streamed movies right now.
Yeah, Monty Python, The Holy Grail. One of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, one of the most streamed movies. That was an original plot. Nobody had AI. It was literally Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks, anything is top tier.
That's from the dome. That's from the heart. That's human made. And it stood the test of time. There's something to say with originality. Let's talk about extortion. That's obviously the whole thing right now with Diddy. The freak offs, he's got all these people on tape, he's extorting them, he knows too much information. Andrew Tate and his brother just got 50 counts of trafficking. If there's a paper trail, they can't just make these things up. What is his thing?
He traffics women and he teaches other men how to traffic women.
Wow.
He has a course on how to. His course that he sells is about how to get girls to fall in love with you and then convince them to do webcam modeling and then just keep all their money. But then he hides it under the guise of the Matrix.
And scene.
Well, that's Gigi talking in the background, and I really didn't know much about it. Let's keep moving, and let's not talk about that one. Jay-Z and Beyonce and Kamala Harris.
I didn't see that.
President Trump got this plane from Saudi Arabia, and they're saying it was a bribe. And then a case came up on Beyonce and Jay-Z and a few others that they took money for endorsing Kamala Harris. It's just a back and forth of a lot of politics.
You mean lobbyists took money?
Here's the thing. They say that as an influencer, as an artist, you cannot get paid directly from the campaign for an endorsement. That's the law. There's ways around that.
You can circumvent anything and make it favorable.
It's all these different people, he said, she said, and it's not really about the truth. And this is why we're talking about things, because the truth is not the easiest thing to live by for some people because they are doing so much dirt. But if you give the truth, you're able to circumvent all the bullshit that comes with not telling the truth. But does it get you to that level of your ambition, your dream, when there's all these people up there that they bullshit, they lie, they'll say anything to get to that position and then justify it?
I think shitty people do shitty things.
But it seems like the shittiest
Period.
people are the ones that are on top.
Of course, because they're willing to do the most to get it.
From a spiritual sense, what's the change? What do you do to get the right people to the top?
Not one person can do that. That takes a movement.
Is a movement, I don't want to say religion, is it spirituality?
It's love.
It's love.
Period.
Explain that.
Like just in anything, like whether it be entertainment, whether it be whatever, like you put the heart and soul back in things, everything fictitious, everything not aligned with the light and the highest good will fall off. You shine your light and it gets on other people, then you ignite their light. That's why the truth tellers or the love spreaders get killed. The John Lennons, the Bob Marleys, the people that preach love, the root being love of everything, because that is the only thing that changes anything. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you're aligned and you're activated and you're awakened to your heart space, you can't be manipulated anymore. The matrix doesn't have a chokehold on. The systems are no longer a thing for you. The more that you live in your authenticity It is a living, walking, breathing example for other people of love, light, authenticity, which then inspires other people. It's the chain reaction. As long as they can keep people sick, stupid, distracted,
The powers
it'll
that be
continue.
are
Yeah,
that,
the powers that be
are
will
that
be
diabolical.
powerful. Yeah, fuck yeah, they are. Because it works, and it doesn't personally affect them.
So wild. I see right now there are influencers. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was an atheist. He grew up in Catholic school and he was turned off by Catholicism. Did a lot of drug spirituality, DMT, ayahuasca, plant medicines. And now he's come back to spirituality. He's interviewed some of the greats. And now he comes back to, I believe in this. I believe in spirituality. I found God again. But
Find yourself, you find that. You don't find God without finding you. You don't find yourself without finding God. It's one and the same. And that doesn't click with people. People get wildly offended when you say that, which is fine. It doesn't even have to be the verbiage. You find the source, you find the light, you find spirit. That's where you find you, and vice versa. When these people that they have a chip on their shoulder, or there's some kind of void within them that has not been filled with something, or they become jaded, there's something catalytic always that takes that part of them away. We're all born believing something. It's an innate sense that there is a power or force greater than ourselves, beyond us, but also within us. Whatever catalyst takes that away, you could be a non-believer, you could be an atheist, and in life or death situations, if you look it up, public information, people that are near death or who have been stranded, like hikers, people on mountains, they always say that there was a force outside of themselves that kept them going. They felt a presence. It's not like you're hallucinating it. Everybody's not going to have that same fucking reaction to stress or panic. I think once you either have a life-changing moment or you really get to the bottom to find you, or you let go and find yourself, that's when you realize that you've also found God.
before that life or death experience where some people are forced into it, do you have to have some sort of come to Jesus, come to Allah moment? What's the first step someone can do in order to have that salvation, to be in the light? Maybe they're in a very dark situation right now.
Accepting that. If you feel disconnected from the light, owning that. If you feel disconnected from something, there's something that you can come back to. Your feeling of disconnect is only your perception, and your perception's your reality. Once you decide that you want to be reconnected, you are. Period. I was talking about the 12 steps the other day. Somebody texted him saying something about the 12 steps. I'm not in the program, just to be clear, anymore, nor do I think that everybody should be working them at every moment of every day, blah, blah, blah. In terms of accepting things and making amends and rewiring your brain to always go for the lightest option. Even if it's dark, you just aligned with the light. Once you start aligning your thoughts with the light, it's all love. Once you start aligning with that, everything follows suit.
Love being the purity of putting people before agendas, putting people before manipulation, all the things that are...
If I wanted to, I could be the most manipulative human alive. I have a brilliant mind. I have a lot of experience in life. I know how people work. If I wanted to, I could be a supervillain. But what keeps you from that is your conscience, what you align with, and the conscious choice to stay aligned with love, to stay aligned with light, because my heart space, my karma, my goodwill of men and peace on earth means more to me than whatever I could gain being an asshole.
That makes a lot of sense where a lot of people are assholes and don't see that. So, I mean,
Or the dude that just don't care.
sorry if I offended you.
Sorry if you're an asshole. No offense.
Going back to that person, someone wrote me and they're like, that was a really interesting take Meg had on AA. I'm in the program. They say
They were in it for a couple years. People in the program make you feel like you have to work the 12 steps or you'll fail, which I don't agree. I think for anything in life, whether it be a 12-step program, any type of self-help, get what you need from it and continue to progress, continue to move forward. If you need to brush up, touch base with whatever worked in the first hand. I don't think anybody should have a doom mindset or you're doomed.
you come from an Irish family and Catholic guilt is real.
Boy, do they feel guilty.
These are the most special people in the world. They're amazing. The kindest. Talk about guilt. They call it Catholic guilt, but it's in all...
Irish Catholic guilt's
Right.
great.
It's in all genres. I see my Muslim friends having that same sort of thing with their parents. Talk about that, how sometimes the system will traditionally wire you to feel a certain way when really everyone who's in a spiritual realm says it's not the right way to think.
There are religious leaders that do push that you should feel guilty. You should be in a constant state of fear but those are corrupt. Like the heads of any major organization, that's how they keep you down. That's how they keep you when you're panicked, when you're fear-based. That's how they control you. There's a lot of stuff with man-made religions. I'm not against any of it. I love all religions. I've studied them all. I've partaken in them all. I love them. But there are things, Catholicism specifically. Man, there's so much guilt that comes with that. A lot of the fabricated nuances. You can't eat meat on Fridays. It has nothing to do with the Catholic Church. That has nothing to do with Christianity at all. In England, the fish market was failing. So they talked to the Pope, what do we do? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, they mandated that Catholics cannot eat meat on Fridays. They can only eat fish. Fish fry every Friday, baby.
There goes the market.
Yeah, stuff like that over time, and people adapt that, and then they really feel, oh my gosh, if I eat meat on Friday, blah, 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 because somebody X amount of years ago said that, but they don't even look into it because they blindly follow.
That's so crazy because as a kid, Good Friday is where they really say you're not supposed to eat meat in sacrifice of Jesus. But then every Friday during Lent, as a kid growing up, I had one Friday, oh my gosh, I eat meat. The whole day I would just be like, I would feel horrible. It was agony. As you said earlier, if you're living in love and you're a righteous person, the sky is the limit of the great things that will come to you. That guilt is something that the system has put on us. It's a man-made situation.
Yeah, it's system. It's not even religion, because religion itself is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I talk about the Bible or the Quran. The Bible, because I've read the Bible, and it's a blueprint. If you follow it, there's a lot of great things that come out of it. Some of the stuff is dated. But
King James got a hold of it.
Well, so they made
What,
Jesus.
Jesus?
Yeah, right?
Jesus with the blue eyes from the Middle East.
Yeah, blue eyes.
Granted, there are Middle Easterners with blue eyes.
That was white Catholicism that changed Jesus white. That was for their agenda. God bless.
It was also to boost the fish market.
Twitter or Reddit?
I don't do either.
X or Reddit?
Neither.
I'm more of a Reddit guy because Reddit comes from real people. It seems like X is, there's so many things that people just bullshit, where Reddit, you have 20, 25 people chiming in on it. Between those, you can take math and you can look at how many people are citing the same thing. Okay, that's where the truth probably is.
Yeah, but there's bots that comment on people's shit too.
With Reddit?
I'm sure.
Gigi, does Reddit have bots?
It's the internet.
You're saying the internet lies? What?
I know. I'm sorry that I had to be the one to tell you.
Oh no.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
We say the change starts with you. Everything that we talk about on here is our truth. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of times where our truth is not things that I wanted to say, because I'm a very private person. That's truth, and that's a great thing about Truth Be Told. What kind of calls have you been getting? People that have seen the show and then have gotten a hold of you through other people, what have they called you with?
God, that shit you did to Adrian, I need that. How do I do that? I need you to hand my ass to me.
Yes.
No offense if you have an ass.
To be on the other side of it, even though you're always learning, you're always growing, is a rewarding thing.
I think it's beautiful that people are inspired by your vulnerability and your willingness, and to see what that looks like. That's a blueprint in itself for other people, how to apply things for themselves.
Can I talk about something that happened the other day that really bothered me for a while, but it was a breakthrough for me?
Yeah, go
selfishly.
crazy.
You had been talking to somebody, and they're also a spiritualist, someone that's gifted, someone that is in touch with the other side. They texted you and they said right away, have Adrian confess and put oil on.
Make confession. What had happened was, okay, somebody that has no idea what's been going on with my medical anything lately, or my body, reached out, and she said to me, I just woke up from a dream. I was having a nap, and you were complaining that the back of your legs were hurting, and you were really sore, so I hired a PT. It was hurting you, and then I saw this symbol, and she drew basically a symbol from one of my Reiki stones. I was like, yo, and it broke down like what's been going on with my body lately. She was like, Adrian needs to make confession, make an oil, and pray over you for your protection and your health, which when I say this, I walk very casually to him, hey, this is what was said. Well, he goes, make confession. What is that? What? You're trying to get me to confess what? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you're out. Secret Squirrel Club over. You are the weakest link.
Here it
Goodbye.
is. At that moment, I will take full responsibility for that. It was an epiphany for me. It was something that was meant to be. To me, growing up, confession means to say something that you did to repent. I haven't done anything. So that's where my head went right away.
And then told me I was manic as he's spinning out, which was cute for me.
Gentlemen, I know it's happened to you out there before as well.
Ladies.
Ladies, it's happened to you as well.
Yes, I'm sure other men have called you manic for existing as a woman, but continue.
I've apologized a million times. And that was a moment to break me open in that moment to say, okay, where's this coming from? The confession is not coming from a place of repenting. And if you're living in love, if you're living in truth, if you're living in divinity, you have nothing to, what are they trying to get out of me? I wrote, I did some quiet time to myself and came out with the confession was to confess my adoration for you, my love for you, my belief in you. That's what I got out of it, rather than,
I know it is.
what would you have done in that situation if you were me and you were healed all the way?
If I was you and I was healed all the way.
Thank God I do post-production because I'm cutting that shit out. What could have been my reaction if I were in a different headspace or I didn't have that past when I read that? Like, what was the right answer in the time?
To me, that's between your relationship with Spirit God.
I agree.
If somebody told me right now, make confession, to make an oil for somebody, to pray healing over them, I would cleanse myself energetically. Even though you're a spiritualist, yeah, you're self-aware, that does not mean that you're squeaky clean. You know what I'm saying? We're all actively have things that we could improve on or do better. Like I would just owning shortcomings, owning whatever the fuck.
Confession still should have been mine coming up with things when it was about you. Is that what she meant?
To purify yourself so that you could purely pray over me was her point.
There it is. Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. You know who we're talking about. You know who you are, and thank you, and we're grateful for you. Very grateful for you. 5 minutes later, I went downstairs, got oils, it was 5 minutes later, it was not, maybe 10. I had to get myself together because I understood that I had made a mistake. You weren't like, no, get away from me. You were very gracious.
I'm not manic.
You were very gracious about it. No, you're not manic. You were very gracious about it. And you're very, very gracious right now. This episode is coming to an end. What are some things that we want to touch on? We have a group here, a production team that does this for a living. And we appreciate it, and we get the information out to people. It's still entertainment. There's always the ecosystem behind it to take care of the people that are behind the scenes and making this happen. So spread the love. If you want to send a gift, it is Truth Be Told TV on Cash App.
Truth be told, my endometriosis is going crazy, so I'm just sweaty. I don't want shit from anybody except maybe like an ice pack.
A nice pack. We're gonna get a shiploads of ice packs to the house. All right, Mama. I love you.
I love you.
We have a great event going on at Chroma called the Creative Union.
We'll touch base on that next week.